Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Peace, much love. This video I'm going to talk about the ODSP shelter allowance and basic needs as updated from my last one, because it's been over a year, I believe. So this is the most current, which I think is about the same for the most part, but I will let you know. The shelter allowance, okay. ODSP rates for income support. If you meet the financial and disability requirements for ODSP income support, you will receive a monthly payment based on a number of different situations. Below you'll find a variety of information with list rates. Your monthly payment will include both a basic needs amount and a shelter allowance, whether you rent/own your own home or live in a board and lodging arrangement, or family size. Shelter allowance. The shelter allowance is subject to a maximum amount based on the size of the benefit unit, where utilities, heat, water, sewage, and insurance are not included in the rent/mortgage. The actual cost of these items for members of the benefit unit must be verified and can be included in the shelter allowance, subject to the maximum amount. Which means that if you have things like water, hydro and that, and you're not paying the maximum shelter allowance for your family unit, you can get those covered and into that until you hit your maximum. Mandatory cable costs directly related to building security can be included in the shelter allowance, subject to the maximum amount. Mandatory charge for normal rent accommodation services such as garbage disposal and laundry facilities can be included in the shelter allowance, subject to the maximum amount. If heating costs on their own exceed the maximum amount payable for shelter, the amount payable will be the actual cost of heating. The amount of assistance provided for shelter is reduced when accommodation is shared with someone other than a dependent. Shelter costs can be approved for a second residence on a temporary basis as long as the person meets specific disability-related criteria. Now, for shelter allowance, if your benefit unit, if it's just one person, like such as me, your maximum shelter allowance is $497 a month. Now, if there's two people that are in your benefit unit size, you're allowed $781 a month. If there's three people in your benefit unit size, you're allowed $846 a month for shelter. If there's four people in your benefit unit size, then you're allowed $918 a month. 5 people, $991. 6 or more, $1,026 a month. Now the benefit unit size is, for me, it's just me, because I'm one person. But if I had either a child or a spouse, it would go up to $781. If I had a spouse and a child, it would go up to $846. If I had a spouse and 2 children, or 3 children and me, $918. And that continues to 5, which is $991, or 6 or more. So the maximum benefit unit is a family of 6 or more, which you can get $1,026 a month. And then that's for shelter. Basic needs coverage. The amount you receive for basic needs is based on the number of people in your family, whether or not your spouse has a disability, the age of your dependents. The amount provided for basic needs is based on the number of persons in the benefit unit the age of dependents, and the geographic location of the benefit unit. The basic needs portion of your income support is meant to help cover the cost of food, clothing, and other necessary personal items. The maximum amounts you would be eligible for are listed below. Now this one is a little more tricky. If you have no dependents either other than a spouse, and no dependents 18 years or older, no dependents 0 to 17, if it's a recipient, just the recipient, no spouse, just like me, just the recipient, 672. Or if it's a recipient and spouse, 969. If it's a recipient and spouse and both are disabled and qualify for ODSP, 1,341. If only one is disabled, it's 969. Now, if you have one dependent other than a spouse, no dependents 18 or older, and that one dependent is 0 to 17, so it's just you and that dependent, you get 815 for basic needs. If it's you and a spouse, and only one of you or your spouse is disabled, and the one child 0 to 17, 969. And if it's you and your spouse and the one child 0 to 17, both adult partners are disabled, 1,341. The only number that went up for that one is for the single person. Like if I had a dependent 0 to 17, I would get 815 instead of 672. The other two numbers are the same. Now, if I had one dependent that was 18 years or older, I would get, just me and that one dependent 18 or older, I'd get 1,041. If it was me and a spouse and the dependent 18 or older, 1,157. That's if me or my spouse, one of us wasn't disabled. If we're both disabled and on ODSP and we have an 18 or older dependent in our home, 1,529. Now, if we have if you have two children, 0 to 17, and you're a single parent, you get 815. If you're two parents with two children, and one parent only is ODSP qualified, 916. If both are, 1,341. So it didn't go up from the one for one dependent. For a second one, it's the exact same as if you have one dependent, 0 to 17. Then if me on my own, I have one dependent 18 or older and one dependent 0 to 17, I get 1,041 a month. If it's me and a partner and my partner is not disabled, and we have one dependent 18 and over and one dependent 0 to 17, we'd get 1,157 a month. Where both me and my partner are disabled and we have a child 0 to 17 and a child 18 or over, we'd get 1,529. I'm a single parent, father of two children 18 or over, I'd get 1,230 a month. If I'm a single parent, if I'm a parent with a non-disabled partner we would get $1,367 for us two and 2 children 18 or over. For 2 children 18 or over and both the adults are, the partners are both disabled, $1,739. A recipient, if there is no spouse included in the benefit unit, okay. For each additional dependent, add 211 if the dependent is 18 years of age or older. 0 if the dependent is 0 to 17. If you are living in a board and lodging arrangement, if you receive food and shelter from the same source, such as living with your parents or living with a landlord that buys and prepares food for you, you will receive the Ontario Disability Support Program board and lodging amount instead of basic needs and shelter allowance. The amount you receive depends on the number of people in your family, the ages of all. One second. The ages of all involved and their disability status. The maximum amounts you would be eligible for are listed below. $825 for a single person. Now this is lodging. This is room and board. $1,230 if there is a spouse included in the benefit unit. If both spouses are age 65 and are not each a person with a disability and recipient of CPPD or grandfathered from FBA, a disability in receipt of CPPD or grandfathered, $1,644 if both spouses meet the double disabled rates criteria. Example, are each person with a disability and recipient of CPPD or grandfathered from FBA. $71 automatic special border allowances per benefit unit. You are also eligible for additional amounts based on the dependents in your house and whether you have a spouse. If you do not have a spouse, 18 years, first dependent 18 years and over, $462. 13 to 17 years, $279. 0 to 12 years, $242. For each additional dependent, add to the amount in item 1. 18 years and over, $227. 13 to 17 years, $138. 0 to 12 years, $101. If you have a spouse, for each dependent, add $227 for 18 years and over, $138 for 13 to 17 years, and $101 for 0 to 12 years. Additional funding. There are the basic maximum amounts. However, ODSP recipients may also be eligible for additional funds, such as special diet allowance, pregnancy, breastfeeding, nutritional allowance, additional heating, electrical, or utility costs, additional amounts for remote areas of Ontario. And that is the updated basic needs, shelter allowance, and room and board. So I added that all into it for you. So if you would like more information that I can try and find, please let me know. Or if you want to know about special diet or any of that, just let me know in the comments below. Peace, much love, bye for now.